You're listening to the Dollop on the All Things Comedy Network. Now, each week, eyelash haver, owner of dogs, man who enjoys a turkey sandwich, Dave Anthony, reads a story from American history to his friend
Gareth Reynolds, who has no idea what the topic is going to be about.
Now, what's wrong with me letting people know who I am?
The things are just not cool or important, so it's
they
just
are important.
Dumb.
There's someone out there right now that just was like, I like a turkey sandwich.
But that still is not. It's not. Nobody's going to be like, hey, you hear that Dave Anthony? He likes a turkey sandwich. No, that'll never be relayed.
There's people without eyelashes.
Oh, so what? You're better than them?
I'm just separating myself. That's just saying we have different lives.
I think it's a rude move then.
We have different lives.
Well, it's probably just not meant for the intro of this show in particular. You could just do another show that's all about you, and you could just list off all these useless things. And I do mean useless things that you've mentioned about yourself over the past couple of years since you've started this bit that is just...
Unless somebody wants to bring me a turkey sandwich.
The version of you that lives in your head is truly bizarre.
The real world person.
He is a king.
He's the real world. I think what it is you're just mad because people don't know a lot about you.
I'm very comfortable with that.
Disagree.
Very comfortable.
And called it, quote, his jam pad.
Jam pad?
I'm the fucking hippo guy!
Dave, okay.
My name's Gary.
My name's Gary.
Wait, is it for fun?
And this is not going to become the Tiggly podcast.
Okay.
This is like anarchy!
On a 5-part coefficient.
My rules of play!
Now hit him with the puppy. You both present sick arguments.
No sleep till hippo!
No sleep till hippo.
Action partner.
Hi, Gary.
No.
Nicely done, my friend.
No.
That was the old one that we used. That had the fin in it.
They both have fin in it.
The new one has fin in it too?
Yeah, they both have it. Yeah. That somehow has made it through both versions.
That's weird.
Yeah, no, it's weird.
Talk about that?
Nothing to do with you. No, we talked about it on Twitter last night. So if people want to see our personal stances on my name and the origin story, they can just go on the Twitter.
Someone produced some interesting evidence.
Yeah, I don't think... all right, I will be doing a lot of stand-up this summer, culminating in an album recording. I will be at Good Nights Comedy Club June 6th through the 7th.
So that's a place
Comedy
where...
Club, June through...
So what they're saying at Good Nights
15th.
is that the comedian puts people to sleep?
I mean, hopefully. That's my target. Comedy Attic, Bloomington, Indiana. Sorry, I keep doing that. June 20th through the 22nd. Comedy Off-Broadway, Lexington, Kentucky, June 27th through the 29th. It's actually way off Broadway. Laugh Boston, July 19th through the 20th in Boston, shockingly. Acme Comedy Club, Minneapolis, Minnesota, July 30th through August 3rd. The Improv in Denver, Colorado, August 9th through the 11th. And then the Fremont Abbey, Seattle, Washington, August 17th. Comedy Club on State in Madison, Wisconsin, August 22nd through the 24th, and that's where I'll be recording an album. And you can go to my website, GarethReynolds.com, find information on all that stuff. Some places just don't have the ticket links up yet, so that's kind of a chronological thing.
That's not helpful.
Thank you. And then I got one. Can I say one more thing real quick?
Yeah.
A buddy of mine named James Kirkland self-published a book called Friend of the Devil, The Bill Walton Mysteries. And it is so goddamn funny. And it's basically if Bill Walton and Dave Pash, the guy that he calls games with, aside from calling games, also solved mysteries. And it's a hell of a read. So it's called The Bill Walton Mysteries, Friend of the Devil, James Kirkland.
Yeah, and I have a new podcast, by the way. It's about The West Wing.
Right.
Me and writer Josh Olson, who is an Oscar-nominated writer, we sit here and we discuss The West Wing.
Do you do it here?
Every week we do it here.
Yeah.
And basically we talk about the show and how people in our political world have decided to adopt that sort of style of politics as if it's reality when it's a TV show.
That's crazy. And good. And good. Because also the stories you hear about Aaron Sorkin are like, he would just eat a bag of mushrooms and go write an episode. So that's... Actually, I support that. I shouldn't knock that.
Yeah. So also, just to report, a lot of people are asking, Audrey?
No,
Audrey did say...
Adri.
Audrey or Adri
Whatever
did say yes to Maya.
Yes.
So
Maya, they are going to the prom together.
They are going to the prom together.
Yes.
So
everybody
we did
chill the F out. That's happening.
She said it was very emotional for them.
Yeah. We were more emotional.
We were.
and I
You
got
cried a little bit.
I
I did
have been
not.
crying about it for most of the days.
I did not cry. I remained a man, a strong man.
But if you did cry, those
old-fashioned
beautiful
man.
eyelashes that you keep boasting about would have surely been able to soak up some of the.
Well, it hangs off of it like a summer roof.
You're something. And if you want to watch this, it's on the All Things Comedy YouTube channel.
Yeah, so check out West Wing Thing is the name of my other podcast. I think that's all. People keep telling me to say stuff and I always forget. That's my deal. We are brought to you by Squarespace, a website company where you can website.
Good. Stick to the copy.
Okay. Look, we use Squarespace. We use it for my personal website, your personal website. We use it for our sources. We enjoy Squarespace. That's our deal. We love it. We hug it. We make love to it. We do all kinds of things.
It's user friendly.
It's user friendly.
That's what I like about
is
Squarespace.
what we're saying. Look, you can turn your cool idea into a new website. You can showcase your work. You can blog or publish content, sell products and services of all kinds. Actually, don't blog, but do other stuff. Get another website.
Don't vlog.
Do we want
either.
people to vlog?
Well, I mean, there's certain people who I'm interested in hearing from, but for the most part, no.
Promote your physical or online business, announce an upcoming event or special project, or more. They got great templates. Again, I've talked about that before. That's why I enjoy Squarespace. It's super easy. It was for me. Powerful e-commerce functionality lets you sell anything online. Everything optimized for right out of the box. You can buy domains. There's 200 extensions. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's good.
So they got 24/7 award-winning customer support. So here's what you do. You go over to squarespace.com. You do a free trial, right? So you check it out. You find your template you like. And then when you set it up, you pay for it. So you do your free trial. And when you're ready to launch, use offer code Dollop to save 10% off.
You're getting emotional.
I am. This is very emotional.
You really do love this.
I really do
product.
Use offer code Dollop to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. That's squarespace.com. Enter code Dollop, which is our podcast.
Oh, I've been meaning to listen to that. There you go. Get it out of you. Oh boy, that's a big
We
one,
also
huh, baby?
we also are sponsored by Quip, which is a toothbrush. I just got new brushes in the mail.
Also got new brushes in the
You
mail.
did?
Yep.
You know how I know you get them?
Because you got them.
No, because they sent me an email that they're sending them to you because somehow there's some sort of.
There's a lot of wires crossed on the swag.
Well, I think we ordered it all through the Dollop. So
the Quip, it is a great toothbrush. The best part is that you can stick it on your mirror.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's really awesome.
It's just a great feature.
You can put your toothbrush on a
They
mirror.
probably at other companies laughed that guy out of the room.
Yeah.
They were like, "Get out of here, you idiot!"
It turns out that guy's the best guy. Look, you were not brushing your teeth right before you got a Quip.
I'm English. I didn't know what I was doing. I just was using a twig and just jamming it into the molars.
It's got. You're supposed to brush for 2 minutes a day. So what it does is it has a timer and it tells you when to flip. Go up to your next quadrant. That's what I call them, quadrants.
Yeah, no, the robot
Go up
voice
and
comes
down.
on.
Go to another quadrant, and it just tells you when to move it around. And then 2 minutes, and then it turns off. It's like, hey, you're done.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so it keeps
it's
a
perfect.
charge for. I'm done. It's very good.
You're done. Oh, he's done.
I'm done.
So, kids, there's a new brush, same as the original version, just tweaked for size down mouths. Kids are inspired to brush better and more often with oral care and looks and feels like the products the adults in their life use, and they're proud to use Quip. Help them develop a grown-up routine without childish gimmicks. Kid-friendly features like small brush head, watermelon, anti-cavity toothpaste, and rubber grip handles in colors little ones will love. And I can attest to this. He loves it.
Your little one.
My little one.
Yes.
Frank.
What's his name? Frankie.
I don't remember.
Frankie. No, it is Frankie.
Yeah, whatever the kid's name
Frankie.
is. Sensitive sonic vibrations for an effective clean that's gentle on your sensitive gums. Why? People brush too hard. That's you.
Yep.
And some electric toothbrushes are too abrasive. I'm a great brusher. I've always been a great brusher. As a matter of fact, my wife used to make fun of me for how long I take, which would be 2 minutes because I have always been a great brusher.
I recently got stitches in my mouth.
Right. So you are a
gum
different.
and I still
sort of-
have the sutures in my mouth, just for anyone who's curious.
Nobody
So
wants
it's
to
just kinda
know.
like a big little string factory in there.
Yuck.
Yep.
So that's why we love Quip and why over 1 million happy, healthy mouths do too. Quip starts at just $25. And if you go to getquip.com/dollop right now, you can get your first refill pack for free. That's your first refill pack for free at getquip.com/dollop. And refill pack, of course, is they give you a battery and they give you the new head for your brush every 3 months, which I get every 3 months, and then I just pop it on, and I am happy as a clam.
Weird.
And my teeth thank me.
Clam, happy as a clam. That's
Clams are pretty
hard
happy.
for us to know.
Okay, find an angry clam.
Find a happy clam.
Find an angry one.
I'm not going to do this again. The classic argument.
13th century!
Whoa, what? Dad?
Yeah.
That's a far way to go.
I know. Crusaders returning from Europe.
Oh, boy, yeah.
Going deep.
Yeah, okay.
Crusaders returning from Europe brought 3 important spices with them from the Holy Land.
Gold, frankincense, myrrh.
Cinnamon, cloves, and nutmeg.
Wow. Interesting.
They brought others, but those are the big 3.
Okay.
Because there was obviously no refrigeration, the spices were used as preservatives to combine with fruit and meat to make protein last longer.
Interesting. Okay. So one more time, cinnamon, nutmeg,
and cloves.
Okay.
The spices were used in pies, which started in medieval Europe. So medieval Europe is pie ground zero.
I'll say this. Regular Europe's still strong pie territory.
Oh, yeah.
They're still
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of
loving
pie.
a crust with meat in it.
There's a lot of pie action going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pie is an English word?
Yeah. Sure. I'm not at all surprised.
It was first written in the 14th century. The assumption is that it is the same word as magpie. Shortened or the same word.
Okay.
Magpies are known to collect all kinds of things in their nests.
Magpie, I told you about.
The eye eaters?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're eye attackers. They don't like eyes.
That's what Fosdyke told us
Yeah. You
right
put
after we
eyes
maybe
on the bucket. The
right
buckets.
after I maybe smoked a joint with him.
Yeah. And they
dive
magpies
bomb.
try to kill people
Yeah.
in Australia, but everything tries to kill people in Australia. That's just there. Although you talk to Australian, they're like, "Well, you guys have bears."
Yeah, you're like
Bears.
Yeah, but you're like they're
When's
straightforward.
When's the last time a bear killed someone, except for like a couple months ago?
Yeah. And besides Grizzly Man, where you get to slowly hear a man's brain get eaten like
Well,
spaghetti.
remember a bear in up in Canada killed a guy and his wife, and it turned out the guy was a fur.
Oh, yeah.
So then
Right.
So everyone was like, "Oh my God, some guy and his wife got killed by a
Instead,
bear. That's
you're
so
just
sad."
like-
And then they're like, "Oh, they're killing
Right.
animals for fur." And you're like, "Oh, okay." So it was
Well, you're
just
like, no, but there's Liam Neeson the bear exists, is what happened.
So magpies build a nest with just all the stuff they can find. For instance, so this is what the pie was, right? So whatever you put in a pie, you just throw crap in there.
Okay, gotcha. All right.
For instance, a recipe from 1450 included, quote...
This is this is going to be disgusting, right?
Yeah, this is the worst thing ever. Here's a recipe, 1450. Beef suet, capon...
Beef sweat is the second...
Suet.
Oh.
So that's like the fat
Okay.
from like the kidney of an animal. It's a fatty. It's a flavoring fat. Okay.
Hey, listen, all I need to hear was kidney.
Capons? Or
Capons?
capons? I don't know what I don't know.
Capers?
It's not caper. I don't know. I've never heard of a capon.
Okay.
So or capon. I'm sure it's capon. Hens, both mallard and teal ducks, rabbits, woodcocks, and large birds such as herons and storks, plus beef marrow, hard-cooked egg yolks, dates, raisin, and prunes.
Jesus
Oh,
God.
just yum.
Ugh.
Get me a fork.
Bringing up the end with prunes. Ugh. So you're just having a bird, cow, kidney, prune pie?
Yeah, you're putting everything in there.
You really are magpie.
Have you never wanted to have beef with stork, heron, and woodcock?
Oh. Well, I would love to try a teal duck or whatever it's called.
There was so much meat because for centuries, pie was a way of preserving food.
I don't know. So because it's made into a pie, it lasts longer?
Well, we'll get to it.
Okay.
It was a cool climate food that was baked in a serious thick crust, a thick wall of dough a couple of inches high.
Jesus. Okay.
So it's like a...
So they're not... This is not crust. This is protective layering.
That's right.
Right.
14th century chef wrote, quote,
Help! We don't know what we're doing! Send help!
"We all have diarrhea!"
And then we're putting it in pies!
Quote, "Have great pie shells, and to make them higher, crenellate them and reinforce them so they can support meat." Crenellated meant to decorate it with square notches like on the top of a castle wall.
What am I supposed to picture right now? A castle pie?
It's a big pie. I mean, it's a big enough pie that it can have a place for sentries and guards.
And a king inside. Put the king inside the pie.
The old word for pie crust, the original word for pie crust, was coffin, Coffyn, which meant
That's really appealing.
yeah. Get what's in the coffin.
Hey, what's a slice of coffin?
It's full of
There's
birds.
kidney in it too.
Sorry, I keep banging the table.
Yeah, quit banging
People
the
got
table.
mad a couple weeks ago and called me.
Were they
names.
getting? They noticed.
Yeah, no, they were screaming at me
That's
on
what Aaron
YouTube.
said,
I didn't look. They just told me.
Right.
Also, I don't care about you.
Okay. Well,
Guy
let's
screamed
think
at
we
me.
did a really good job until then.
It was almost like medieval canning, except inside was almost always meat and outside a crust. So it's a version of canning is what they're doing, but it's a pie.
So, edible cans,
Well,
pie cans.
usually you weren't supposed to eat the crust.
So, look, I genuinely walk around all the time thinking of how spoiled we are.
Yeah.
But this is
Oh, yeah.
so they're making crusted pie. They're making pie, and they're like, "Don't eat the crust. Just eat the
That's right.
melange of things we've
Just
thrown
eat the
in
garbage inside.
Yeah, just enjoy.
We picked up every animal we could find on the road and we
so,
threw it in there.
don't eat the crust. Just eat the trash bag in the middle. Okay.
Standing pies.
Standing pie. You can really. It opens up when you get inside. Is this a 2-bedroom? This is gorgeous.
Standing pies were where there was no baking dish or pan used. The crust obviously had to be very thick to hold the pie.
It's not a pie. I mean, what? I'm like just thinking of like a deflated football with meat inside of it and crust now.
It's so the crust there is definitely inedible for the standing pie. Standing pies were huge and could be eaten for up to 3 months.
Oh my god!
So now we're talking a giant,
Just a giant
huge box.
crust,
Yeah,
seriously, like a home.
and you're just digging into that
And
baby
you're just,
every.
don't eat the crust, you'll die.
Every night you're digging in and pulling out something. Oh, what do we have here? Oh, it's a heron. Oh my God, it's a chipmunk. Like you're just pulling out whatever awesome flavors in there. Yeah.
How big? I mean, how big is this?
It's huge because it has to go, because if they're eating on it for 3 months, every day, probably every meal.
It's a bus? How big is this fucking
It's
pie?
big. It's a big fucking pie, man.
Jesus Christ.
The largest pie
That
recorded.
astounds me the things I've never heard of before. What?
The largest recorded pie in the Middle Ages
Oh my God.
was 9 feet in diameter and weighed around 165 pounds.
Holy shit. Wow.
So you just get to dig into that baby for months. So great, right?
No.
How is the pie today? The same as it was 2 months ago.
Imagine it at like month 8 when you're like, man, we're almost through it. We can almost make a new one. But here's what I don't understand.
Yeah.
Why couldn't you are they just overbuying ingredients? Why couldn't
Well,
you
I think if they go out and hunting or whatever and they
Right,
have
no
a
waste,
big
right.
bunch of kills, what are they going to do with it? You can
Right.
either turn it into like a jerky situation or this
Right.
is better because this is like, more flavorful and meaty. And
Yeah, no, you don't want to waste the
I don't
food.
think there's anything great. For me, I've never had anything better than a 2.5 month old cooked blackbird.
Honey, we're going to the Anthony's. Hurry up. They got a pie that's only 4 months old.
So
He says there's a heron in it.
this big
So you're just
pie.
putting fish, chicken,
Yeah, whatever.
and beef in.
Yeah,
Ugh.
the whole thing. It all goes in
It's
there.
like you're eating Noah's Ark.
It's all tasty. It's all yummy.
That's the term I'm thinking.
So this 9 foot in diameter pie contained 2 bushels of flour, 20 pounds of butter, 4 geese, 2 rabbits, 4 ducks. A geese is big.
Yeah.
4 woodcocks. What's a woodcock? Is it like a little
Old
woodland creature, or is it a
dildos.
bird? Is it a bird?
Huh?
Is it a bird? I don't want to get dirty here.
I'm not trying to either. I haven't said anything.
I think a
dirty.
woodcock's probably a bird.
But
It sounds more like a little woodchucky fella.
I bet it's a bird.
Okay.
Yeah.
6 snipes, 4
Sure.
partridges.
And we're not even going to talk about what the hell a snipe is?
A snipe's a kind of bird. It's a night bird.
You got no clue what you're talking about. A night bird.
2 cow tongues, 2
Oh, Jesus God.
curlews,
Even the cow tongues are like, we don't want to taste this.
6 pigeons, and 7 blackbirds.
Oh my God.
I hope they took the feathers off. Let's just hope that.
That's a lot of stuff to put in a pie.
So they would cut a hole in the crust, take out what they wanted to eat, scoop it into bowls, then plug the hole back up.
With what?
When a standing pie came out of the oven, they'd pour melted butter through a hole in the crust to hermetically seal it.
Oh. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Since they were going to be eating the pie for weeks, they'd throw tons of ingredients in there for more flavoring. This highly seasoned combo of meat, suet, dried fruit became known as the mince pie.
Oh, man, mince pies.
God, the look on your face.
Oh,
You look mad.
I hate them. My grandmother, every Christmas, would make 800 of them.
Yeah.
And it would be everyone's job to just be like, I love them.
Yeah.
And you just be like, oh, why?
Yeah.
But I'm sure those mince pies that I had in comparison to what they were dealing with back then.
This is a whole different situation. Yeah. And you're also trying to survive,
Yes, important to have nutrients for sure.
Because the spices in a mince pie had come from the Holy Land, they had a religious connotation. After a while, the Catholic Church started teaching that the 3 spices signified the gifts of the 3 wise men to the baby Jesus.
Well, I was a little ahead of that one.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
okay.
So
pie Jesus.
That's when mince pies.
Jesus piped.
Yeah. Well, okay. That's when mince pies became part of a Christmas tradition.
Okay.
For Christmas, a mince pie was made in an oblong.
Have you ever had a mince pie?
No.
Yeah.
And I never will. That's the cool thing.
Yeah. It's a very good decision.
Thank you. For Christmas, a mince pie. I'm not a huge pie person. I love pumpkin pie.
I'm not a pie person either.
I would fuck a pumpkin pie if I could. I
These
love
are
pumpkin
recorded
pie.
episodes,
Yeah.
so
Let's
careful with
put
what
it
you
out
say,
there.
Eyelash.
It's legal.
In England, it is a lot of pie.
Yeah,
it's a lot of shepherd cottage mince.
No, I know, and it's the same. And they do it in Australia. They have a little bit of pie down there.
Right, yeah.
But I don't get it. Every time I've been in Australia, I've looked at the pie and been like, no, I don't want that.
Yeah.
And they put everything in. There's all kinds of meats and
There's
different.
they have a McDonald's called
Now,
Pie Face.
When I was a kid, I used to eat chicken pot pies, which is kind of a thing that's similar.
that's pie-ish meat.
But
sure.
the last time I ordered chicken pot pie, I was soundly disappointed.
It's just
I was
weird.
like, why did I do
to
this?
Know that it has a religious context because it seems so weird that it's pious.
How do you feel about yourself right now?
I don't feel good, and I thought I would.
For Christmas, a mince pie was made into an oblong shape to represent Christ's crib in the manger.
I mean, ugh.
And the top crust often had a pastry figure of the baby Jesus on top.
Sure, right. What an homage.
And I'm sure it looked exactly like it.
Oh,
the
yeah,
baby
no,
Jesus.
for sure. Yeah.
I'm sure it was just
especially
like
by month 4. You're like, gee, he doesn't look right, does he? He looks a bit smashed. Well, because we've been digging kidney out of him for 4 months.
It was common for the mince pie to have 13 ingredients to represent Christ and his apostles.
Oh, this is so
normal, totally
stupid.
normal, just normal stuff.
So stupid.
Of course, this meant Puritans hated the mince pie. English Puritans believed mince pies were superstitious, idolatrous, abominations, and popish.
Popish? Popish?
Popish?
Whatever.
Is it popish or popish?
I don't know.
It's probably popish. Whatever. They think it's, Pope related.
We'll eat any kind that doesn't have 13 ingredients in it. We're not crazy.
The mince pie was a purely Roman Catholic creation and therefore evil. They saw Christmas as a pagan holiday.
Sure.
Oliver Cromwell's Puritan Council abolished Christmas on December 22nd, 1657.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Abolish it. That's what Fox News is worried about.
That's right.
Yeah.
And yeah, it happened. So they have reason to be scared.
You see, this guy just abolished Christmas?
Yeah. Christmas was not legal.
He canceled Christmas?
Canceled Christmas. It was for a while too. Mince pie was in a.
And then some guy just came back and he was like, "Hey, we're having Christmas again.
It's good.
It's going to be great.
It's good. It's nice.
All those things that we've thought of over the years about how we want to make it better will now do. If you stand under this, you're kissing. We're putting this on the fucking tree now, right?"
Watch the language.
Fuck off. We're back.
What are you doing?
Well, I've got you this for Christmas. It's in my pocket. You old bag.
No, it's not right for Jesus.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Come on. Come on. Give us a kiss. You're standing under the leaf.
Yeah. Hello.
Hello.
Hello,
All
Governor.
right, yeah. Oh.
Who's this? Who's this little fella? Is this the governor here?
No, all right. Don't touch that in front of the family.
Hi. That's our Christmas. That's our Christmas
Christmas miracle.
Mince pie, obviously in a dark place now because it's part of Christmas celebrations.
Sure.
In London, soldiers patrolled the streets and would take by force if necessary food being cooked for a Christmas celebration, like mince pies. So Christmas raids, Christmas pie raids.
Right. That is crazy.
Some people thought that specifically mince pie was made illegal, and mince pie was not. Christmas
Either
celebrations
way,
were.
So, like, festive cooking of any nature was now just
They just kick in the door.
Well,
where's your fucking pies?
all right, give us the goose. We know you're celebrating. Sorry, miss. Give us your yams as well. It's over. We're done. All right, and we're leaving, and no more celebratory cooking. No more religious dishes. All right? All right.
Can I put blackbirds in it?
You what?
Can I put blackbirds in me pie?
Hold on, let me have a word with him. Boy, she wants to put blackbirds in it, won't she? Yeah, man, no, it's not for Jesus. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. All right, you can do it, but don't be praying around it or anything fancy like that. All right?
Question.
God almighty, look, we've got a lot of places to kick the door in and make sure they're not having Christmas geese. What?
Can I put a baby on top?
Well, that's... Hold on.
Just a regular
hold
baby.
Hold on.
Just a regular baby.
No, honestly, now she's pushing it because now she's saying she wants to put a baby on. What kind of baby is it? Well, no, she says a regular baby, but it's slippery. Yeah, we think it's a slippery slope, right? You can put a baby, but it can no way be the baby Jesus or the baby Jesus, all right? Now, if you refer to it as baby Jesus, we'll be back and we'll put our foot through your bloody pie, all right? There'll be no more questions either. So don't even sit there trying to come up with one if you've not got it, all right? All right.
Yeah, just be a regular baby.
Yeah, all right. That's all right, but
Yeah.
you seem very sneaky. So I'm a
It's
little...
like a miracle baby, though. Because we had a hard time making him.
Right, now she's really out of it.
He'll be in a little barn.
No. Right, give us your crust.
No.
No. You're trying to make a baby Jesus on the pie.
No.
Yes, you are. You just called it a miracle baby.
No.
Yes, you did. You did.
No, he's...
No, don't even try to be charming. No,
babies.
come on, smash the crust.
No!
Smash the crust.
No, that's the baby Jesus! You killed the baby Jesus!
I knew it was. Quite validating at the end.
So people went back to baking the mince pies round again after the Christmas celebrations were made illegal. So they look like it had nothing to do with Christ, right? So now it's a secret spy mince pie.
Right, yeah, a mince spy.
So the Puritans who came to New England brought their mince pie hatred with them.
Okay.
Some New England colonies passed laws against Christmas.
Okay.
Plymouth Governor William Bradford called mince pie, quote, idolatry in a crust.
Oh, my God. Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we're nuts now, but obviously we have to maybe give credit to humankind a little.
Satirists in both England and America made fun of the Puritans' hate of mince pies. It was the perfect symbol of the Puritans' fanatical rejection of earthly pleasures.
Sure.
Yeah,
Sure.
of course. But mince pie survived underground, living in the shadows through the Puritan rule.
So just got like dark areas underground. Maybe like,
secret pie.
what's the ghost telling you about?
Hey, boys, get down here. We've got a little bit of a pie club.
How many you want, mate? You know, there's 4. Fuck off. You never got these from me, all right?
Though its reputation took a major hit in the colonies, in 1733, a writer who was sad about the treatment of mince pies'
This guy's
reputation.
hard to root for.
Yeah, so he's sad about the mince pie's reputation.
Sure.
He wrote, quote, inveighed against Christmas pie as an invention of the scarlet whore of Babylon, the devil and all his works.
I mean, I don't have
Yeah.
the brain space to figure out
I
what
get
he's
it.
saying, but so he's saying they scarlet lettered pie.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, the sweet pie's been ruined
Right.
by the Puritans.
Right.
So eventually the Puritan rule of New England colonies waned and the mince pie came back.
Yes.
In the 1800s. It had stuck around because it was still a good way to preserve meat.
How
and,
the hell did you stumble upon this? Like,
I mean,
how does
I
this
wish
happen?
I could tell you, but it just happened. This guy wrote a great article about mince pie, and then I just started looking into it. And all of a sudden, I'm just, for hours, just looking at every mince pie story in the 1800s in the newspapers, and just like reading for hours about mince pie in newspapers. I mean, that's really what my life was this week. Oh, this is a good mince pie story.
Yeah. Honey, come to bed. I can't. I just went down a pie hole.
Really? I was down a pie hole.
You went to a pie hole.
So it sticks around. It's a good way to preserve meat. So as much as you want to try to get rid of it, it's just practical, right?
Right.
The other ways are to eat dried beef and salt pork.
Right.
So the gooey concentrated sugars kept bacteria at bay by sucking the moisture out of the meat.
Oh God, just the
It's hot,
action
right?
verbs in that are just distract.
Sexy.
The sucking
Gooey.
sucking bacteria.
Yeah. Also, spices act as antibacterial agents. So the mince pie wasn't going to go away because Puritans hated it due to it being practical. Mince pie slowly spread out of New England, down the coast, then into the interiors. By the middle of the 19th century, mince pie was popular everywhere Europeans had settled in America.
Okay.
The popularity may have been due to booze. Mince pie was full of it.
Huh. Okay.
An American.
Is that where pie-eyed comes from? Maybe.
Oh, I've never. Yeah, it might be.
Might be.
It
Yeah.
absolutely might be.
Yeah.
And America was settled by European countries. The top 10 alcohol-consuming countries in the world today are all European.
Right. That's awesome.
Drinking was an important part of American culture from day one. Puritan called alcohol the, quote, good creature of God.
Well, finally.
Yeah.
Some sense.
Finally, they did one thing.
Right.
By 1770, Americans drank alcohol with every meal. Booze was in mince pie.
Every meal?
Every meal.
Huh.
Every single meal.
Interesting. So your morning...
Breakfast cocktail was called an eye-opener.
Man. So everyone was an alcoholic.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
Well, not everyone. There were some people that didn't, but most people partook.
Okay. Now, let's say you're back in this time. Are you partaking?
Yeah.
Without question.
100%.
Yeah.
The eye-opener sometimes came in the form of mince pie in New England. In the colonies, everyone drank, even toddlers.
They're already drunk.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, it's great.
And Americans only drank more.
I mean, it does make, like, I do not think you should do this. Nobody should do this. But, I mean, I would love to hang out with a drunk kid.
Oh, my
like
God.
a drunk, like, 4-year-old be like, buddy, you were wasted. Be like, I'll tell you.
Yeah, I mean.
I dropped my blocks. I know, I say. I'm all over the place. I can't do it.
Fuck you, Benny.
All righty.
Yeah, here we go.
All right.
Yeah, so as it only increased too. Americans only drink more and more as time goes on.
Right.
As the 1800s come along, everyone's drinking. This is largely due to corn being grown in the Midwest. So corn starts being grown
Okay.
out in the rest of the country, which gets turned into whiskey.
Uh-huh.
So now
Well, there
they
we
have
go.
even more access to booze.
There we go.
They were downing 90 bottles of booze a year per person, which includes the millions who didn't drink. So 90 bottles of booze a year is actually way more for the people who actually drank. Because then there are the
it's
people
the
who don't.
average.
Yeah.
Right. Wow. 90 bottles. Yeah. Good amount.
Yeah. With all the boozing came the abolition movement. And they were hardcore, as we've learned.
That was when we had a countrywide intervention.
Yeah.
Right.
They used to cut down apple trees in people's backyards, abolitionists, because you could
Okay.
use it to make apple cider.
Well, you could also eat an apple.
No one did that back then.
They were just busy. They were pie obsessed.
I probably won't do one about Johnny Appleseed, but Johnny Appleseed was actually a guy. He was popular because he brought apples to be used for booze. It had nothing to do with apples.
Wow,
He
okay.
he was there to make people liquor.
changes
And they
changes the
fucking
lore.
Loved him.
Right.
So by the mid 1800s, they had the abolitionists had their eye on mince pies with its alcohol content. They saw it as a gateway pie to hitting the bottle.
A gateway pie?
I mean, I might have
what
made
an
that up,
era. What? It's pie pass, my man. So you take 2 bites of the pie, pass it to your right.
Temperance crazies shunned the pie, and Protestant clergymen also still refused to have anything to do with a mince pie.
It's pie.
Mince pie was so bad that Protestants would sermonize against it.
I mean, if you were there and like, I mean, I have no ambition to go to church at all, but if he's hollering about a pie, I'm definitely like, we should have just skipped this one.
I know. Well, you got holler pie. You're just like, dude, is there something else that you got?
And from the oven came the sinner's crust.
Just the Reverend Thomas Wentworth Higginson was an abolitionist and a health nut. And in 1860, he described mince pie as, quote, very white and indigestible upon the top, very most and indigestible at the bottom, with untold horrors in between.
Has he had a pie?
Well, probably not, because he's Protestant, so
Right.
he probably has never had.
Well, there you go.
But this approach didn't always work. After hearing Higginson's lecture against mince pies in Chicago, a Dr. Collier decided he should try one for the first time. After he did, his cupboard was always stocked with a mince pie.
This is, I mean, it mirrors so many other things.
Yeah.
You don't want to listen to that swearing music. We should go get a CD. Like,
We should check it
yeah,
out.
anything
Yeah.
that so
100%.
so he's just railing against pie, and then there's people like,
Yeah.
we got to get our hands on.
Yeah,
some
Jesus
pies.
Christ, this pie sounds amazing.
Yeah.
By mid-Victorian era, mince pies were considered good luck. So it's switched, right, to the Puritans now. The most of the population, right, Protestants hate it, but now most people are totally on board with mince pie.
Right. Okay.
Except for the temperance movement and the Protestants.
Right.
Who were probably a lot of crossover there. Anyone who ate a mince pie on each of the 12 days of Christmas would have happiness for the next 12 months.
That was
That's the
proven by
No, that's what it's
the
like a
mince pie slogan.
That's what it's the good luck mince pie
Sure.
thing.
I'm starting to think we should get rid of Christmas again.
But they had to eat each pie in a different house
This
each
is
night,
the dumbest thing I've
offered
heard.
by a friend.
What sort of bridge troll riddle is this?
So you thought shopping for Christmas present was a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
Now imagine back in the day when for 12 days you had to go to 12 different people's houses and
You have
eat
to go to
fucking
12
pie
but then
and eat mince pie.
There's a lot of like as far as like people. Nobody's going to be home because everybody's out
everyone's
trying to
fucking-
eat pie at someone else's house.
Yeah, it's a fucking shit show. It's
So you over 12 days have to go to 12 different houses and eat 12 different pies
It's the
that
biggest-
are offered to you.
It's the biggest nightmare that we've ever heard.
Here we go. Look who's back.
It was considered extremely unlucky to refuse a mince pie.
Ugh.
As the
What a nightmare.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Yes. Shit. No. Oh. Want another one, Ralph? Oh, shit.
fuck me.
Yes. Ah.
As the
You guys talk about pie? You want one? No. Yeah.
I want to die.
You just want a pie?
No.
Did you just say you want a
die.
pie?
I said die.
Well, you
I said
can't
die.
say no. It's bad luck.
Ugh,
Here, have
fuck.
two.
Oh God, I'm gonna.
So
throw
Ralph
up.
died last night.
How?
Pie.
Oh.
Die.
Oh, that happens.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, no, it's good luck, though. He's going to have a good 12 years or months. Who cares?
As the Industrial Revolution took over, mince pies went from something made in the home kitchen to being cranked out in commercial bakeries.
Finally.
The best kind.
Yeah.
Mass-marketed pies. There had always been jokes about what was in mince pie.
Sure.
Like a popular story about how a man had cut up his old leather pants and served them to friends as the main ingredient in a mince pie. So everyone had
So just kind of
urban stories
funny
about,
stories
yeah,
like that
what's in
about
there.
the time that guy put his pants in a pie.
That's right.
Right. So just kind of cute, like, lore of the day about how a guy cut his pants up and fed it to people.
That's right.
Yeah, just kind of light little tales about normal humans who are just throwing their pants inside of crusts. Sure.
That's correct.
Yep. Okay.
But now that pies were being mass-produced, the mince pie became the original mystery meat.
Okay.
So it's the first mystery meat. Like, you don't know what's in it.
Right.
Charles Dickens' novel The Pickwick Papers includes a gross-out joke about a London pie maker who uses stray kittens as his pie filling.
That's funny. What?
This wasn't...
Kittens and pie?
Yeah. Well, there's no way that wasn't happening.
Oh, why? Kittens?
What do you mean? So people
Stop.
people
I
are
can't.
hungry. Of course, people are going to be grabbing cats and rats and dogs, anything you can, and putting it in a pie. Like if you're in the upper class, of course you're going to be eating geese and ducks. But the poor people are putting whatever they can in a fucking pie.
Okay.
This wasn't. This isn't exactly a stretch because food was unregulated. So there's no regulation in food at this
Okay.
time. So the pies were
Well, there's
considered.
not now either.
Yeah, it really isn't. I mean, they've
farce.
totally rolled it back.
Yeah.
The pies were considered such a who the fuck knows what's in there item that everyone, air quotes, who had been who had known someone, right? Known someone who had bitten into a piece of newspaper or buttons or streetcar transfers. Like everyone knows a friend, right? My buddy Larry bit into a pie and there was a button in there. Like, it's that kind of thing.
He ate a tire.
Yeah, there was tire in the pie.
Jesus.
Larry.
So, okay. So some people are just, and now that's just kind of like an urban legend, or that is...
Yeah, it's one of those things where... So mince pie is such a who knows what the fuck's in there that people are just like making shit up about. No, my buddy, there was a tin can in one. It's
so is it just because it's minced? So like at this point, they're mincing the meat to a point?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think with the commercial pies, it's just fully minced meat. You really don't know what's in there.
Right. Okay. So it's like meat.
It's like McDonald's.
Right.
Although we'll totally advertise for you. So there's a McDonald's commercial in Germany. A woman is in a tree. She's protesting. She's like one of those people who goes up in a tree to stop people from cutting on the tree. Okay. There's a guy on the ground who is a lumberjack or whatever. He's there to cut down the tree. And they're having a standoff.
Sure.
And then it goes into the night. And then they're both sitting there and the lights of the McDonald's arch comes up because there's a McDonald's nearby. And they see it. And then they cut to her accidentally dropping a McDonald's wrapper.
Wow. So talk about a 180.
Yeah.
That's cool. So the tree hugger can't get over how good McDonald's is.
That's right.
Okay, sure.
That's right.
Sure. Well, I'm glad you're watching normal stuff.
Someone sent it to me. Someone just sent it to me. You got to see this one. So commercial pie became the go-to example of a changed America. What was once cooked at home came in a can.
So
mince pie, mince pie comes in a can.
The whole idea was that it was a can.
Yeah, but now it's but not to you can't ship a pie crust around. You got to ship it in a can.
Right.
So a canned mince pie. Does that sound good to you? That sounds pretty good.
Yeah. Well, considering that a fresh one sounds terrible, one from a can is always better.
Much better.
Yeah.
America will always find a way to make something.
Oh, the sound it probably made when it came out, just like the cranberry sauce out of the jar, like the. There it is. There's dinner. There's my pie.
Just fucking reprehensible. Mince pie became the king of pies in America. On Christmas Eve, 1871, the New York Times described a pie wagon driver whose wagon was filled with hundreds of mince pies. So many it required 2 horses to drive it as it delivered the pies to customers. In the 19th century, people who loved mince pie called it, quote, unquestionably the monarch of pies.
Why does it have to be royal?
The Great American Viand. I don't know what that is.
Viand?
An American institution, and as American as the Red Indians.
What's as American as mince pie?
It's American as racism.
Yeah, right.
Also, more and more booze is being added to mince pies.
Well, that explains some of the popularity.
It really does. According to the Times, mince pie was now a, quote, sacred and cherished American institution, even though everyone agreed, even people who loved it, that it caused indigestion, nightmares, and if you ate too much, disordered thinking, hallucinations, and even death.
Well, I mean, the pie side effects read like a pill commercial. What? You're going to have pie nightmares?
Indigestion, nightmares, disordered thinking, hallucinations, and even death.
I mean, like, 2 of those I want. But, okay, so...
So they're strongly associated with nightmares. Like, mince pie nightmares, just like...
Really?
Yeah. From the Topeka Citizen in 1886, headline, Mince...
I mean, that is insane.
Yeah.
Okay.
Headline, Mince pie, unquestionably the most reliable nightmare hatcher ever invented.
What is happening?
Quote, one plain, innocent-looking mince pie will furnish enough nightmares to go around 3 or 4 times.
What does that even mean? It's like the weights and measures don't even matter.
I think he's saying that just one pie he'll eat long enough to get 3 or 4 nightmares, So it's going to be over 3 or 4 days.
Right.
I once slept with a personal friend who had recently filled himself with mince pie.
That's a really weird way to say that a guy ate a mince pie. He had filled himself with a mince pie. He had turned himself into a human pie himself.
He was a large, able athlete. I awoke suddenly to find him sitting on my bosom with both hands grasping my sunny locks. Before consenting to share my couch with a friend, I now ask, have you eaten mince pie since last week? If he says yes, I do not trust him. I have all the excitement I need with my own personal mince pie nightmares.
That is the craziest thing that's ever been in a paper, right? I mean, what did he just say? His friend ate a mince pie, and he woke up, and the guy was on his bosom playing with his beautiful hair.
Yeah.
And then now he always does a pie check with his pals.
That's right.
Hey, well, I want you to sleep on the couch with me, obviously. But when was the last time you had a mince pie?
It could have been last week. Within the week. I mean, he's going back a week on the pie. Not even that day.
Probably doesn't have a lot of friends.
During the Victorian era, people got super into health fads. People took all kinds of digestive cures sold by quacks, which fit in nicely with the eating of the mince pies. And diet fads were big as everyone sought to calm their stomachs. One was Fletcherism, named after the diet guru Horace Fletcher.
Okay.
It said you should chew each bite at least 32 times.
Okay. Well, that's quite a lot of chewing.
This would lead to shitting out, quote, a digestion ash in little balls ranging in size from a pea to a so-called queen olive.
Okay, Dave, look, I don't want to... Nobody wants to relive what you just said. I don't want to relive it. But what the hell did you just say? This guy is saying if you chew your food 32 times,
That's
when
right.
you shit, it's going to be like ashing a cigarette?
It's going to turn into digestive ash.
Digestive ash?
Which is... turns into small little balls when it comes out as poop.
Is he thinking of
The
rabbits?
size of a pea or so-called queen olive.
A queen olive?
You're shitting out little pellets.
Well, and he's like, this is the way to go.
That's the way to go. It's the
Okay.
most healthy thing to do.
Sure, is to have an ash hole.
That's correct.
Okay.
It would also, quote, have only the odor of hot clay or a hot biscuit.
Okay, so just not that, again, nobody wants to relive it, but this man is suggesting that if you chew your food 32 times, you'll poop like a rabbit and it's going to smell like biscuits.
That's right.
Okay, ready to move on. Just wanted to make sure we
This
had
was a
that.
very popular diet in
Cool.
America for
Cool.
years.
Great. And people were pellet pooping?
Yeah, well, apparently.
Okay.
But mince was known for being notoriously indigestible. Harper's published an attack on mince pies, quote, "We are fond of pies and tarts. We cry for pie when we are infants. Pie in countless varieties waits upon us through life. Pie kills us finally."
What is that? What sort of weird, dark poem is that? Read it one more time. I'm sorry.
Yes. "We are fond of pies and tarts.
That's
we
a crazy start.
We cry for pie when we are infants.
Uh-huh.
Pie in countless varieties waits upon us through this life. Pie kills us finally."
Okay, pie kills us finally.
Yeah.
It's a great last line. Pie kills us finally. All right.
In 1888, seaman George Humphreys died of yellow fever while out at sea. But after the ship returned to port, a doctor investigated. Turns out, on the ship, they had celebrated Thanksgiving.
Oh, no.
The cook made a dozen mince pies. 3 mince pies were not eaten and stored away in the ship's locker. Quote, "George Humphreys of Bridgeton, who was on watch, became hungry. He ate a pie, then he devoured a second pie, and then sent a third pie homeward." That means his tummy, I think.
Oh, okay.
The day after his binge, George became ill. He died soon after and was buried at sea. Quote, "Loaded up with pie as he had been, no stones were needed to sink his body. The crust was heavy enough for that."
They say the same thing happened to Bin Laden.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's how yeah.
They got him.
It was reported the doctor said, quote, "You do not need to use an anchor. I understand, but merely a tin of pie, merely tie a pie to the chain."
So this is the doctor of the ocean?
Well, the doctor, it's an anchor doctor.
Dr. Anchor.
He understands anchors.
Sure.
As well as
The
ships,
human
it
body.
seems.
Yeah. It's because obviously if you do throw a pie as an anchor.
That's right. It works.
Right. I was just going to finish it by saying it works.
Yep. The Philadelphia Inquirer reported there was nothing wrong with the pies. Quote, "Not rotten or poisoned or contaminated mince pies. Mind you, just mince pies."
What does that mean?
That's what had killed him.
Oh, okay.
They're saying there's nothing wrong with them. They were just ordinary mince pies.
Okay.
But that's what
So
happens.
now we're about to have pie fever?
Well, no, this is the chance you take when you eat mince pies.
Right. Yeah. No, it's definitely a risky pie.
But for every scary tale of mince pie deaths, newspapers published poems, essays, and editorials about how awesome mince pies were. The state newspaper of South Carolina wrote how great mince pie was in creating a better America because in the early days, quote, "it thinned out the weak ones."
What? That argument is probably not good. Were people that in touch with reality that they were just like, Why can't we be like that now? Yeah, it'll just thin the herd. That's what we need.
It's the Cato Institute of Mince Pies. In 1888, lumberjacks in a logging camp were described as eating mince pie 3 times a day.
That's a lot of nightmares.
In 1899, the Des Moines Register wrote about Charles Kling, a New Englander who intended to control all pie product in New England. Quote, he claims his pies are sanitary and that henceforth dyspepsia and mince pie dreams will be unknown in England. Dyspepsia is indigestion.
Okay. So he's trying to get rid of
So
heartburn.
he's saying his pies are sanitary and it gets rid of heartburn and there'll be no
more
dreams.
nightmares.
This is the
the pie cure.
It's a clean mince.
Right. Okay. Finally. Right.
Finally, someone created clean
Finally.
mince.
Right.
Klink said he knew more about mince pie than any other man because he was brought up in quote, a pie atmosphere.
Oh yeah. Well, no. Does anyone need to see any paperwork? Because I think we all trust him. Clearly, he's being honest. He was brought up in a pie atmosphere.
As a boy, he drove a wagon.
My father was a pie. He raised me to be a little pie, but unfortunately, I was a boy.
As a boy, he drove a pie wagon and always knew pie was his destiny.
Yep. So pie atmosphere checks out.
He has devoted as much thought and time.
One time, mother walked in on father having his way with a pie, sexually. He'd put a glory hole in the crust.
Oh.
His
Wouldn't-
story was eventually turned into a high school romantic comedy.
Wouldn't all pies with a hole in them be called a glory hole pie?
Oh, man.
Because it's glory once you get in there.
Ugh. That's how you really freak out the religious.
That's right.
Also, we're having sex with the pies now.
Well,
Oh, my
fucking-
lord, my lord.
Oh, how do I get one?
Oh, my lord.
He has devoted as much thought and time to pie as Nikola Tesla to electricity.
And both not, I mean, very similar, too.
Yes.
Yeah, we've got the pie guy and then Tesla.
yeah.
Both have done a lot of stuff.
He called his brand of pie the Sanitary pie.
Sure.
A lot of New Englanders were upset by his move for pie dominance. The Chambers Journal, quote, some grumblers objected to the innovation on the ground that one of the chief attractions to the New Englander was the weird and rousing nightmares, which...
Who is this from the tourism department?
So it's like you take an ayahuasca or some shit. They want the nightmares.
Right. So,
This is their version of mushrooms.
right. So this guy shouldn't be doing this. They want cow pie.
That's right. And rousing nightmares which supervene on the hearty feast of a mince pie and vary the monotony of pastoral life.
So he's like, I'll make pies that won't make us lose our minds. And people are like, you idiot. We eat the pies to trip.
I want to go crazy
We're
at night.
tripping on pie. I got to make the pie if you want to trip later.
But then I assume that was it because there were no more stories after him announcing that he was going to be the pie
So this man
king.
just made the proclamation and then that was it because people were like,
People-
we like our nightmares.
Yeah, people were not into the sanitary
That
pie.
happens. That there are certain fish that people like in certain areas like will, if you eat the fish, you will trip.
Really?
Still, yeah, trip hard too. Like
Really?
have crazy ass fever dreams. If you eat like that, you eat the head and you just like go crazy.
I don't want that at all.
I kind of do.
So also, they started putting less and less meat in pies.
Okay.
After a while, it was just suet.
Is it becoming like it? So at this
It's
point,
coming closer to what you know as a mince pie.
right? But it's also because they're now able to store food better.
Yeah, I
Right,
think that.
okay.
I think that there's
So the pie is now
a change in how you can store meats and a change in how you can do things with
Right.
meat. So there's less reason to have it in a pie.
right. Okay.
But so they still do the suet, which is the fat, the
Right.
beef fat or whatever it is. Dried fruits like raisins, seeped in brandy or rum.
Yep. This sounds very familiar to what I've had.
The temperance movement began to swing the pendulum back the other way. They attacked mince pie because of its liquor content, and the courts did not help either. A judge in Pittsburgh made a court ruling on mince pies in 1907.
Okay, the people versus pie.
A man had beaten his wife and children, causing them to flee their home. After learning the man had eaten 3 pieces of mince pie,
Shut up.
Judge Miller ruled mince pie consumption was extenuating circumstances.
This guy pled pie? Are you kidding?
The judge placed some of the blame on the wife for serving him mince pie.
Oh my God. What? Your Honor, my client here, unfortunately, was out of his control. He was out of his mind. He'd had 3 pies that this woman fed him.
You harlot!
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of papers I read mocked the judge for this thing, but it's still illegal.
Yeah.
ruling.
That guy was like, I can't believe that worked.
Some people agree with the judge. Many did not. The Democrat and Chronicle wrote, quote, "The mince pie is denounced as hypocritical, seductive, indigestible, a promoter of nightmares, an arouser of the liver to rebellion, an invitation to man's most vicious impulses to assert themselves and do their worst. All such talk is slanderous, insincere, and reprehensible."
Wait, is that pro-pie or anti-pie?
He's pro-pie. He's
pro-pie.
very
Okay,
mad
right.
about the judgment
Right,
against pie.
right, okay.
The writer goes on because he thought mince pie was delightful. Quote, "It is a beneficent home influence, a domestic harmonizer, an agency for peace in the family."
This is so insane that nobody can just be like, it's also just pie. Just so we all know, it's also just a pie. This pie made me kill my wife. You fool, this pie will give you strength. You will be stronger than any man.
If the Chicago magistrate should take the trouble to make a thorough investigation, he would probably find that the unfortunate man whose case had been noted was demoralized by being deprived of mince pie. Probably his wife refused to make it or didn't know how.
We think there was a second pie.
So he literally...
Yeah, he's grassy knolling pie.
So the judge blamed mince pie.
Yes.
And now he's blaming the wife.
Right, right. So at least everybody's wrong.
Yeah, so at least nobody here is saying hey, this guy's a dick who beats his family.
Right, yeah, right. That guy was like, I can't believe how well this is going.
No,
What are
I
you
wasn't
doing?
saying anything, sir. I was trying to turn up the ringer.
Pie.
My nephew sent me a message. Bad timing.
Congrats.
So the Chicago magistrate... Oh, I already did that.
So meanwhile, the wife is just sort of like, this is fair. I'm glad this kind of went this way.
Yeah, I mean, it's really...
Right.
Later that year, Albert Allen of Chicago was arrested for shooting his wife in the head.
Oh, God. What is about to happen?
Allen explained, quote,
Officer, I had a couple of pies that night, and I probably shouldn't have been hollering at her.
quote, "I ate 3 pieces of mince pie at 11 o'clock and got to dreaming that I was shaking dice. The other fellow was cheating, and I tried to shoot his finger off. When I awoke, I was holding the pistol in my hand, and my wife was shot."
Okay. Whew. Okay. So he killed his wife, and he blamed it on pie.
That's correct.
So the stakes are getting higher.
Wow.
Okay.
In 1907, the Secretary of Treasury and Chairman of the Republican National Committee, George B. Cortelyou, was suddenly the focus of presidential talk after an article was published that his lunches often consisted of mince pie. The press then thought he must be running for president
What?
because they're saying he's like, "Oh, look at me. I'm like you New Englanders. I'm a mince pie eater."
Well, obviously he's running for president. He had pie.
Quote, "Some of the Yankee papers insinuate that the publication of the Cortelyou luncheon menu meant the launching of the Cortelyou presidential boom, while others think the revelation of Mr. Cortelyou's pie-eating proclivities makes him the ipso facto and par excellence the New England candidate. Cortelyou apparently also enjoyed clam pies for breakfast."
Oh, my God. That man should not be in charge of anything.
God, I mean, I
Doing a
assume
clam pie?
that's just like a clam chowder, maybe.
But who wakes
Fuck.
up and is like, chowder? That's what I'm in the mood for. Chowder. Ugh. It goes great with coffee. Some hot clams. Ugh.
The article went on, quote, "Mince pie has helped make him what he is.
What is happening?
He is not the man to turn his back upon his friends, nor to use them as his ladders.
No, this man eats pie.
If he goes to the White House, mince pie will be honored there."
There it is.
Mince pie was the jam. There was no other pie like a mince pie in America. It was eaten as an entree and as dessert, and in parts of New England as breakfast. It was eaten year-round, though it was more popular in winter. Everyone had mince pie on Thanksgiving and Christmas. Apparently,
Dude, we're so fucking wasted on Mince Pies right now. It's crazy. I can't drive, dude. I had too many Mince Pies earlier.
apparently there was a time when one was supposed to settle down and eat less mince pie.
What? What the hell did you just say? There was a time when people were supposed to
When a man
settle down?
was supposed to settle down and eat less
when a
mince
man
pie.
gets little, his partying days are over.
Yes. Well, my pie days are over. I'm looking for a lady to marry.
I've got to settle down. I've had my fun. I've had my night on the pies, but unfortunately now I'm a little bit older. I'm looking for a lady to kill when I've had a slice or two.
According to the Trenton State Gazette, quote, this time comes in the lives of some men when they are obliged, for the sake of other members of the family afraid of nightmares, to refrain from eating mince pie.
Well, I've quit pie.
But their knowledge that there are others who appreciate it and who can eat it with temerity and a knife out to give some of them joy, whether it does or not.
What?
So he's living through others who are
Right, he's
still
living
eating pie.
vicariously.
Jimmy, tell me about the pie you ate, since I can't, or else I'll kill my wife.
Well, I don't want to rub your face in it,
Yeah.
but it's so good. There's so much stuff in it that I'm not aware of.
Maybe,
Oh, man.
Maybe it's worth it to kill my wife.
I'm having so many nightmares.
In 1908, when a Yankee physician claimed mince pie was bad for America's health, the New Orleans Daily States paper shot back, quote, the Republican dynasty at Washington may overthrow the federal constitution, the rights of the states, and pluck the stars from the blue field of the national ensign, but the mince pie will continue to be the nation's comfort and pride.
What? Boy, that's quite a hill to die on, isn't it?
They pretty much said everything about America doesn't matter except for mince pie.
Yeah. And you want to tear up the Constitution?
Fuck. In 1909, a 50-pound mince pie was given to President Taft by New
Oh,
York.
God. And he was like, no.
No, he loved mince pie.
But a 50-pound mince pie?
It's a big pie. These are the same.
Because he gained weight in office.
Yeah,
it
he's a
probably
big
could all
boy.
be associated to that.
It could be the whole pie. It was given to him by New York
Do you
bakers.
swear to eat the pie, the whole pie, nothing but the pie?
A pie.
Alrighty.
So it was given to him by New York bakers for Thanksgiving, for his Thanksgiving meal.
Okay.
It was delivered in an oak case. He was also sent a 26-pound possum from Georgia.
What is a Secret Santa? Who's in charge? All right, so what are we going to give Taft? We all know he's in charge. He's a big shot. We want to grease the palms a little bit. So we got our 50-pound pie. Anything else we want to throw in there? I found a big fat possum we should put in there. That's a great idea, Harry. That's a great idea. All right, so we're going to give him a 50-pound mince pie, and then we'll just give him this 26-pound possum. All right, I think that's it. We put a ribbon on it, get her out the door.
Jesus. Mince pie was the main food item Americans longed for when they were traveling in other countries. Once an immigrant came to enjoy the taste of mince pie, it was a sign he or she was assimilating into American life.
You're one of us now.
I feel sick.
Yeah, that's right. You're going to have horrible nightmares. Don't keep your firearms near the bed.
Congress debated making alcohol illegal. At a House committee hearing on a bill to make alcohol illegal, congressmen mocked the prohibitionists. Theodore Sutro, quote, if the law can say to a man, thou shalt not take a sip of wine or beer or whiskey or brandy, it can, by the same authority, say to him, thou shalt not take a mouthful of mince pie. I give it as my firm belief that as many murders have been committed by dyspeptics, indigestioners, made dyspeptic by too much mince pie, as by men inflamed by strong drink.
This is not like... It's so similar to all the dumb debate. Like, when does life begin?
Totally.
When is a pie a pie? When is a pie alcohol? When is it a food?
What comes first, the pie or the ingredients in the pie?
That's a great question.
After the guy made this connection, the committee hearing room burst into laughter. The representative of the Women's Christian Temperance Union said there would be no mince pie rider attached to the bill. The Women's Christian Temperance Union had already endorsed a pie that was made without liquor.
What the hell kind of garbage pie is that?
Thank you. The temperance bill did not pass on that occasion, so the mince pie question was left unanswered. In 1910, Dr. Fenton Turk of Chicago,
No, the one.
gave a lecture during which he declared, quote, the graceful, self-controlled Turk is the superior of the nervous, lank New Englander.
What does that mean?
He's saying that the Turks are that New Englanders are weak and anxious, basically, and that Turks are awesome people.
Okay.
The guy's name is also Fenton Turk.
Sure, I was gonna.
This was due to diet, he said, specifically baked beans and mince pie. He said the mince pie, which their systems could not assimilate, were slowly reducing New Englanders to brutes. Everyone laughs and then go to a Patriot game. Quote, quote, mince pie and baked beans are bringing about the deterioration of the people of New England.
I love how he throws baked beans in there,
Yeah.
too. He's like, plus these beans ain't helping anything. Okay, mix those together.
The Boston Globe responded, quote, the aspirations cast by the learned doctor on our mince pie and baked beans we can overlook, but we most respectfully resent being rated as inferior to the Turk.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so take
that's
that.
right. Yeah.
A few years later, French psychoanalyst André Tridon said all Americans were going down because of mince pie and corned beef and cabbage. He said...
Good odor to the people.
Yeah. He said that the natural advantages Americans have over other white men are largely dissipated by the neglect of the American stomach.
Well, it's good to be able to root for this guy, obviously.
Yeah, we have a hero.
Yeah, we finally have a man rises. And the reason why you're no longer fully superior to other races is pie.
You're pie eaters. Quote, Americans are the worst eaters in the world. Your atrocious corned beef and cabbage and your horrible mince pie are but examples of your unspeakable menu.
And society today was like, buddy, hold our
Oh,
beer.
yeah. We're just getting started.
Are you kidding me?
Have you ever had a hot dog pizza?
Yeah, we're putting pizza in pizza now.
When the stomach fails, the race begins to die out. The true American has already begun to disappear. You are too much addicted to your mince pie and kindred gastronomic nightmares to give them up. They will be your downfall. It is the black man who will succeed him as ruler.
Jesus, this guy, this guy.
He's French.
Yeah, okay. That's still no excuse.
What Trudeau was not aware was that black Americans loved mince pie as much as whites. So his fear of a black-dominated America due to mince pie was not going to happen. The nation's largest black newspaper, the Chicago Defender, still recommended eating mince pie for breakfast.
Ugh.
Yeah.
I guess it beats clams.
Well, yeah. In 1912, mince pie started to take heat for being bad for young women's complexions.
Oh, there's a lot of twists in this road, Dave.
Yeah, well, now, right, so the temperance union is, the temperance ladies are doing everything they can to take down mince pie.
Right.
Dietitians had come out against eating mince pies. Several colleges in New England then forbid restricted pies for female students. Lillian Russell wrote a beauty column for the Kansas Weekly Capital, and she wasn't having it with this attack on mince pies. Quote, the girls at Mount Holyoke are not permitted to have mince pie at all. Wellesley girls are allowed mince pies 3 times a year. What do college girls know about the technicalities of digestion? At the school girl age, there is no sensation in the functions. It is...
I mean, everybody's insane.
It is not a tribute to higher education that they admit they are rearing a class of girls who cannot digest mince pie.
What is going on? It is amazing. It is amazing how it just is like everything else. But now we're at the point where it's like, look, if you're not careful, other races will rise up. And also women, you can't have any. Okay? Are we clear? White men, go!
Mount Holyoke had indeed barred mince pie, but they did it because it made the girls very tired after eating it, and they couldn't concentrate in class. So then everyone else just ran with the complexion story and took it. It's the classic propaganda.
Right.
The Reno Gazette-Journal then satirically wrote that they should use mince pies on patients for surgery.
Oh, very droll. You.
The story headline was, mince pies is an opiate.
Wow.
From the Huntington Herald, January 14th, 1918. Headline, quote, mince pie and pig's feet. Guess the rest.
I will not guess the rest. What the hell's happening?
Grant Wrightsman, night jailer at the county prison, ate heavily of pig's feet and mince pie.
What, single?
Is he single?
Yes.
Yeah.
I thought.
Well, we don't know. He might not be.
Well,
While he
a diet of
dozed,
pig feet.
He's a prison guard. While he dozed, a nightmare came. Grant began to shoot up the place and was standing on the stone steps of the jail in his bare feet when Sheriff Omar Brown aroused him. He explained that he dreamed a jail delivery was in progress. Obviously, it was because of the mince pies.
Did he end up killing anyone, or he just?
It didn't
was
say if he killed anyone, but he was
Okay.
just shooting at the jail.
He was actually shooting?
Yeah.
Wow.
But mince pies, so it's not his fault.
I'm starting to wonder.
My friend Jesse Aguilar, when we were in college together, he would always say, I'm not responsible for what I do when I drink tequila. And this is the same thing.
Well, I'm not going
He was
to
fun.
fight with your buddy, but
He was a fun
I think he
guy.
is responsible. What a horrible thing to hear.
He's a teacher now.
Hey, I'm eating 3 pies, so who knows what's going to happen. You guys might die. All right? I love pie.
When the 18th Amendment was passed and alcohol became illegal in 1919, liquor lobbyists started to carve out a loophole that made exemptions for cooking with alcohol. Their efforts paid off when they won a court case, Chicago's Old Distillery versus Prohibition enforcement officials. Booze in the kitchen was back.
Okay.
So liquor could be used.
So you could just bake booze now.
Yeah, so it can be used for cooking, but it was regulated. You needed a license. Still, most of the booze that was supposed to end up in like mince pies found its way to the black market.
Oh, weird. Interesting.
But mince pies also changed. It became a booze pie.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm sure it was just loaded with
The
booze.
Chicago Tribune did a study, and the average
Give me a shot of pie. Can I get a pie on the rocks?
the average content of canned mince pies was 14.12%.
Wow. What?
This is
a
more,
pie?
much more than a can of beer.
It's a glass of wine.
Yeah, with more than that. It's like
Is
a huge shot of whiskey. At a hotel trade show where the cans of mince pie were available, a man said, quote, "I love pie." His friend responded, "Here's how." Then the two men clinked their plates together like wine glasses and ate their pie. When lawmakers passed and started enforcing food and drug laws, they found most commercial mince pie did not have any meat in it at all.
Yeah, so what? It was just a rum crust?
It was just rum and dried fruits. Mince pie slowly began to fade after this. No one knows exactly what the cause was. There's different theories. The bad commercial version slowly killed off the homemade pie, improved in mass availability of refrigeration,
Okay.
but no one really knows. But what we do know is when World War II came along, the apple pie
Supplanted the mince
supplanted
pie.
the mince pie, and it became the American pie, and the mince pie just vanished as an
Interesting.
American thing. It's still in England. They
Yes.
still have it for holidays.
Yes.
But mince pie, I mean, maybe still in New England, I don't know. But mince pie in America is not something we
think
do
in
for any holiday that I know. of.
I'm surprised. I would be surprised if people knew what mince pie is.
Yeah, I had no idea until I
Yeah.
started reading this.
Yeah.
But in England, it's a thing.
Still totally a thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
no,
in
it's still
America-
sold in packaging, still very holiday themed, and
My guess is that the one refrigeration, but the commercial can pie like if you're all eating a shitty version of something, you just stop eating it after
Yeah.
a while.
boy, that is crazy. That is just nuts. Okay,
Well,
so pie. Who knew? I mean, they also probably like once prohibition is over, then and you have access to more
yeah, sure.
options.
That's 100% part of it. So it became associated
Because
with booze.
I really do not like. To me, I've never liked mince pie.
Yeah.
Like it's not. It's it is. It's kind of like a jam in a pie, but it's not as good as that. It's weird. It's weird.
It's just sounds gross.
It's just not a good flavor, in my opinion.
Yeah, I
but,
get it.
But it is still extremely popular there.
Well, yeah, it's like you grew up with it, right? So
Yeah.
So like, what's the stuff that they Vegemite in
Mm-hmm.
Australia, which is just the most horrendous thing I've ever put in my mouth. But they
Have you
grew
had
up on
Marmite?
it. But yeah, it's all bad.
Marmite's pretty good.
No, but you grew up on it, so you're like that's a
Yeah.
normal thing.
Yeah.
A-
Just like
and-
eating clams in the morning.
Yeah, it's the same
Right.
thing as clams in the morning.
Right.
So if you're in your culture, you're used to it, then you're like, oh, this is good. So mince
Right.
pie is fine.
Right.
But I think that it's not fine, and I think that these things should be abolished.
You're still calling to get rid of the mince pie?
No, it's fine. I mean, it's great, but the
It's not
meat.
great.
The thing when they were
You're
just
all over the
putting
map.
The thing when they were just putting everything in there, like
Oh, that's horrifying.
that's
horrifying.
it's the worst thing I've ever.
Eating a pie. I mean, it's not a pie. Who knows what it was? But you've essentially created like just a storage unit, and it's edible.
It's an edible storage unit.
Yeah. Which now that I'm saying it back, might be time for Shark Tank.
Bring back, just go on Shark Tank and pitch a giant.
All right.
Okay, so this is a 4-foot pie crust.
There's nothing will get through this unless they use their teeth, and it'll take a while. And there's no Jesus on this, just so don't get freaked out that we're going to go back to that sort of time.
I mean, look, the way America's going, we might end up going back to standing mince pies.
Oh, yeah. Seriously, take note of these things, because there's a time when you and I will probably be in some shed as I'm loading a shotgun, and you'll be like, all right, you want a herring? Come on, I reached in the pie.
This is what we can just take away from this is that life was at one point just horrific and was just a diarrhea-filled nightmare.
Yeah. I mean, I think about that all the time. Like, what happened when you got a headache? Or heartburn. When you had heartburn.
Or toothache.
What did you do? You just were like, I'm going to kill myself. It's over.
Like, I rarely get heartburn.
Oh, dude.
But when I do, I take a fucking pill and it goes away.
Yeah, it goes away. Or you can
then
take
it would just be months, and all you can eat is your fucking 3-month-old pie. Like, that's all you have, so
and
you just got to keep getting heartburn.
You keep going back to the thing that's going to light your chest ablaze. Well, it sucks. Got to eat something. I'm dying over here, though. I think I've got an esophageal hole, so that's cool. Good Lord.
But I just keep going back to, all I can think about is, there's no way everybody didn't have constant diarrhea.
It must have just been horrible. Horrible.
Just a horrific.
Publicly just
the word. Like, you're eating a 2-3-month-old thing. Like, it's just, your body is like, stop it.
You're eating 5-month-old bird.
Yeah.
My guess is that you are going to be like, ooh, something's not agreeing with me. Do you think it's the half a year old bird?
I can't believe those 2 blackbirds I ate that I killed last winter and cooked are not making me feel good.
All right. Well, why don't we round up the family? We'll go have some diarrhea in the woods. Does that sound good to everybody? Make a group trip. Go do it.
I mean, for everything where people say we're not better off,
Yeah. Well, they haven't been to the LAX bathrooms.
I think this one... Yeah, that's true. The LAX bathrooms are maybe
we're getting close.
Yeah,
we're getting closer.
It's pretty much a mince pie situation.
We're getting closer. Well, Dave, another
I did it.
Normal.
I apologize.
Tale from history.
Yeah, and I'm sorry.
Yes, you should be.
Thank you.
Thank you. Holy shit!
How you feel?